Hi everybody, welcome to your daily tarot reading. This is for Thursday the 23rd of February and I'm using the Robin Wood Tarot for today's reading. Let's have a look at what's coming up for you on this day by the cards. Okay, so basically watch out for bad fashion choices. That's not a good look, is it? It's like Maleficent meets, I don't know, the never-ending story. Not good. And it's interesting because the Knight of Swords is actually about making good decisions and really being on top of things. But in this deck, they've just kind of dressed him in a kind of ridiculous way. That's Comic-Con 2017, isn't it? So it's interesting because we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. And we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So we've got all of the court cards of the sword suit here. So today is about thinking, okay? And the King of Swords this way around is about making good decisions. But because of the way he's dressed and the way I'm looking at this, you may be very certain of what you're thinking, what your ideas are, what you're feeling, what really is right and wrong. But to other people, you may just look like an idiot, okay? So don't be so certain of your own ideas. You may not get it right. So if you've decided to write the tell-all book about your family and how badly they've treated you, and you're deliberately burning some bridges, and that's absolutely what the right thing is, just kind of rethink that because you may regret it later on. The basic message is don't be so certain of your own infallibility, of your own rightness. None of us are right all the time, okay? Next card is the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is about rushing into things. It's about being extreme. He's so busy here. He's riding this beautiful Pegasus, actually. He's got his own wings. Lightning is striking the sword. It's all about urgency. It's about let's go for it and let's not wait another minute. That is in reverse. So it feels like you're not rushing into things. It feels like you've mulled this over. It feels like you know exactly what you're doing and it's exactly the right thing. Okay? So finally, and that makes it more difficult to, especially if you're making a mistake or if you're about to make a mistake, you feel certain of it. You've also been contemplating it for a long time. Those two things together would indicate that you are even more certain and that you're more likely to do it. An example of this that I can really identify with is I met someone in person who I met off YouTube, and I had a terrible experience. Terrible experience. And for months afterwards, I wanted to make an exposed video. I wanted to make an exposed video as a result of my experience because I thought it would be useful to share this experience. And I kept thinking it over, okay? And it seemed like a good idea to me. And it wasn't just a one-off. I kept thinking about this for weeks and months and I really wanted to do it. But the truth is that if I had made that video, I would have put out a lot of negativity and I would have created more negativity coming my way. So even though it was a consistent thought, it wasn't a good idea. The other thing that is interesting about this is what you focus on and what you put out there becomes bigger, okay? I recently made a video about YouTube criticism and how some videos, it was just called YouTube criticism and I addressed criticism. And it's so interesting, I focused on that idea. I wasn't so certain about that video either because I wanted to address it, but I realized in the spiritual principle is that if you focus on something, you make it grow and you make it bigger. And it's so interesting, a day after I made that video, I got a text from my mother and the text was, "Hello dear, it's like, I just watched one of your videos and I noticed that you don't look in the camera. This is rather irritating. Just a bit of encouragement, kisses." And it was just funny to me that it was like, that was meant well. But I had literally the day before focused on something and I had created more of it in my life, okay? So despite the consistency and the strength of it, the idea here is to just hold back a little bit. And then finally, we've got the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is also about making good decisions. It's about beauty, it's about elegance here in this deck, and it's about making not just the right decision, but making the loving decision, okay? And this is in reverse. So yes, it may be consistent and it may seem absolutely right, but it's not loving. And if it's not a loving decision, and if it's meant to expose someone else, or if it's meant to bring someone else down. Those are especially the kind of things that I'm talking about here. I feel so focused and certain about that I have to get this out there and communicate this, because swords is also about ideas and thinking. So your ideas are very, very forceful and you're so certain of them. But if there's no love involved, then what good is it? Because the truth is that, we are all connected. And if you do decide to put people on blast, or you really have a go at them, is that bringing you closer together to that person, or is it creating more distance? And sometimes it feels good to create more distance and to really just have your say in things. But it's also important to realize that you're not an island. No man is an island, and that we exist in the context of our relationships at times. And it's important to try and be forgiving, and to realize that no one is perfect, not ourselves, not other people, and to not be so harsh and judgmental, especially if you look like him. Talk about people in glass houses, right? So this day is about being more loving, not rushing into things, not being so certain, and giving it another look. And I would urge you not to make a huge public announcement on this day, or to burn the bridge for the last time. Leave it, look at it again tomorrow, and go from there. This week in itself, I don't feel is the most reliable week when it comes to making big, long-term, lifelong decisions. Have a look at the weekly horoscope. It looks at the theme for the week as well, and it's not the ideal week to do this kind of stuff. 1, 2, 3. 3 is about communication and new beginnings. So there will be this urge there to communicate. You're certain of it. You've been thinking about it a lot, but ask yourself, is this a loving thing to do? And that's really the saving question here for the day. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading with me. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.